Hi, how are you doing? This is your friendly neighborhood random guy. And before we begin, like always, if you found what you were looking for, please like and subscribe. Today's topic is more of a experience I have been gathering for years but never paid attention to it. In fact, nobody ever did. It has become a general usage thing of 21st century, even 2 to 5 years old use them. Well, regardless of benefits or not. Yes, I am talking about social media, which started as a forum where people could discuss or have meetings sort of over one topic and share some life advices, etc. Later on, a more sophisticated version of it came as Orkut, which became famous in Brazil and India until Facebook took over, and so on. Instagram, Discord, etc. mode of connectivity and communication, later became modern sharing and caring stuff. But somehow few guys ended up being defrauded by it. Why? Let's see why. Here's an article about why social media outran forums. 1. Social media is designed to be attention-grabbing. A class of students paying attention to a lecture. Social media, by design, knows how to grab your attention and then hold it. You likely find yourself scrolling for a while on Twitter, Facebook, or some other social media before realizing you've lost track of time. While you could have the same experience on a forum, social media platforms are more adept at maintaining users' attention. This is because they run on an attention economy model, as your sustained usage makes these platforms money. The fast-moving nature, mixed media types, text, image, and video, and design principle of scrolling through a timeline encourage you to catch up are all examples of social media trying to keep you on the platform for longer. On a forum, you have many subsections, each with their own threads. They tend to be a bit narrower in focus and long-form and predominantly text-based, which is easier to pull yourself out of because it takes more sustained focus to navigate. If you ask me, they are just a bunch of scamming tactics designed to keep you hooked. Say, for example, whenever I log in on the Facebook, there's always a video or short of some accident or some animal being rescued, mainly intended to keep people hooked, or some erotic short which will start playing automatically. These guys know how to grab people's attention for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Lot of guys barely know about it, until they're told that all their time on Facebook was all about shorts or videos which were played automatically. They guys had no choice. They were force-fed those videos and hypnotized into watching the complete video. 2. Forums seem outdated. Forums have been a part of the web for over 2 decades, so it's no surprise if you find them outdated. In many areas of life, not just technology, people tend to gravitate toward the newest thing. With social media becoming the dominant form of communication years ago, forums will fade further into obscurity as time goes on. This is because young internet users will learn from people around them that are older about social media, and the less they see forums, the less chance they'll think to sign up for one. As time goes on, forums will likely become more obscure and more outdated, leading to fewer sign-ups. Well, on this one I will have to agree. Again, the makers know what to feed audience and when to feed them, to keep them hypnotized. 3. Forums tend to be dedicated around one subject. This isn't a hard and fast rule, of course, but forums typically are dedicated to one subject even if the actual boards have sections for many topics. Examples include Mothers for Mumsnet, Gamers for IGN boards, and so on. Forums commonly have a subsection where you can talk about everyday life stuff, films, TV shows, games, anything that isn't related to the primary subject it was created for. However, because of this dedication to a single subject, it can lead to you thinking that they're very niche. This may not be favorable compared to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, all of which cover pretty much anything and connect you to people based on a comprehensive algorithm or your manual searches. Forums are dedicated to one subject, but in my experience they did pretty well. Look, I call my generation the first shot. We fired the first shots. Sorry youngsters, but we social media animals gave promotion to worst industry of mankind. My generation was the first one to get hooked on Orkut and Facebook, and later on Instagram, Discord etc. followed up, but now after 10 years of usage, I say all of them turned out to be useless. With auto videos being forced fed, they're all a scamming tool. Whereas on forums I found great communities about cars, about our city and its food outlets or highway for long drives and long drive tips which are clearly not found over any of those so-called scammer mainstream social medias. In fact, in most of discussions I found that you ended up getting roughed up verbally or getting bullied, mobbed up by people of different opinions. Whereas on forums, mind you, guys on forums are above 25 generally, so they're not so aggressive. Guys on forums were supportive, friendly, informative, shared life experiences, and most importantly they were everything but bullies. Generally main public of social media is 13 to 25 years old, so they're immature, stupid pricks etc. So in the end of the day you don't get to have a friendly discussion or conversation just to be social. Your friends are non-existent, just they're alive in images, while you can't talk to them or share any life experience. Hell, even this was one fortunate incident. A guy whom I was friends with on Facebook from 2011, let me call him Z. I always planned of meeting Z in 2020s, I thought he must be doing good until I called someone who was friends with both me and Z. He revealed to me that Z had passed long back, some 4 years back. Shit. This is the social media crap. You barely know about the personal lives of your once friends for life group, well-known guys. They become strangers over social media just like in real life, so not social at all. In fact, some guys develop grudges on it, when one of their friends forever never messages them. So, in my experience it's promoting rage and hate, everything except social life. The only new friends I made were through forums luckily. And now it has transformed into a group over WhatsApp, where we share or talk daily. Where it's social for real. So, forums fulfilled their promise, whereas social media is lying, scamming scum of 5,000 comes. One guy even told me how his fake girlfriend over Snapchat had scammed him of a lot of money on the promise of meetup. 4 apps are more user-friendly. Cluster of icons for popular social media apps. You likely have dozens of apps on your phone. It's possible you even regularly use most of them, even if it's pretty common for most apps on a user's phone to go ignored for months at a time. In any case, you probably agree that apps are more user-friendly than simply using a browser. Even though social media can negatively affect you, you're more likely to prioritize the convenience that apps and social media provide rather than the negative impacts that usage can cause. This is a big reason social media killed online forums, because they typically can be used on a mobile app as well as a browser, whereas forums can only be used on browsers. While you can access most forums via your mobile browser, it'll be clunky and less responsive than an app and almost definitely less friendly to navigate. The accessibility that apps provide makes people more likely to stick to them rather than go out of their way to use a forum on a browser to connect with people. Apps are user-friendly and useless, so why bother making them user-friendly? The one app which I downloaded was Discord. I had high expectations. After a month of usage I would rate it as the worst of them all. 5. The rise of Facebook groups. Facebook groups are extremely popular, with over 1.8 billion people using them monthly. It's no surprise, they are well designed and make it simple to keep up with conversations. As they are typically narrowly focused on a certain subject, it means that you can get information or conversation on specific subjects without even having to leave the Facebook app. While you may find that it's still harder to find older conversations on Facebook groups than on a forum, the accessibility that they offer is undeniable. No other social media really has a competing feature, with LinkedIn groups often littered with self-promotion, non-moderated conversations, and a lack of presence compared to Facebook groups. This, combined with the popularity of Facebook's platform on the whole, means that their group's feature is extremely popular, and these were also big reasons that online forums fell by the wayside over the past decade. Well, whenever I open the Facebook groups, they're full of crap from spam hubs to fake ads. They're a hub of links spammed for promotion and nothing and what, and nothing. Just for the sake of spamming, that's about it. Or some erotic video would start playing in itself to keep you hooked for minutes. 6. Social media is the current day online forum. While you can still find active online forums and perhaps even miss them if you used them back in their glory days, it's fairly clear that social media has dominated the way we talk to each other online for many years. While there's a lot to love about forums, they simply don't have the same pull they used to. Gaming forums typically tend to perform well still, and you can find a lot of great discussion on them on a platform that promotes more long-form discussion than social media typically tends to. God, never compare our good old forums to your dirty spamming hub of social media. Well, those were the only points where social media outran forums, if you go by your own opinion and not public's opinion. Now comes the real thing. Why forums are better than social media. Over the last few years, we've seen a lot of complaints about social media sites. We've seen talk of fake news on Facebook and how the site isn't taking care of it. There have been articles upon articles written about Twitter and harassment. And well, where things like Reddit and YouTube are concerned, it's basically been a car crash all around. You literally can't find any way saying those two communities are well run. However, there is a solution here. No, it doesn't involve AI or machine learning. Instead, it involves a much better social solution. Namely, internet forums. Yeah, you know the ones. The kind you used to see on fan sites in the 90s. The ones many gamers and entertainment fans are die-hard users of even today. Those are better than the big social media sites and networks you find online. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. 1. They're independent entities. Starting with the big reason I prefer internet forums to the likes of Reddit. Basically, they're all independent entities. What do I mean by that? Well, look at it this way. On a forum, no one knows who you are. They don't know who you are or what your reputation is. They don't know what forums you've been banned from or why. And you know what? They don't care either. When you join a traditional internet forum, you're given a blank slate. You start from ground zero as a newcomer with no reputation at all and build it through your actions on that particular community. And I prefer that. I feel that giving people chances is better than assuming someone is unredeemable via past experiences. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that on the forums I run, Wario Forums, the merged gaming latest forums, I don't give a toss who you are or what you believe, as long as you don't break the rules. Are you a die-hard Trump supporter who believes the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, wants Clinton indicted and feel America should build a wall to keep people out? Don't care. Obey the rules on my sites, act like a reasonable person and discuss the topic at hand, and you'll be fine. Same goes with if you're on the opposite end and feel like Trump should be impeached. Russia hacked the election and the treatment of minorities in America is bad enough to justify rioting against the police. It's much better than the Reddit method of setting auto-block bots based on what communities you're a part of, or the Twitter method of sharing block lists based on people with different political opinions to yourself. People are human, they make mistakes and they act differently in different contexts. Let's not turn their online reputation into a virtual death sentence. But forums being independent from each other isn't the only reason I like them so much. Oh no, the moderation has an effect too. 2. Forums have fairer moderation systems. Because unlike Twitter and Reddit, there are no double standards on a well-run forum. The popular kid doesn't get away with murder because he brings the company money or fame. His ass just gets kicked out the door for disrupting the community and being a jackass. That's how it works on my sites anyway. You break the rules, you get a warning. You keep breaking them, you get temporarily banned. And if things keep getting out of hand, well, it's a permanent ban plus possible IP ban for you. There's no subjectivity here. I don't ban people more or less for their popularity or political views. I just moderate in an unbiased way that helps keep the community as good as possible. Contrast this to, say, Twitter, where being liberal gets you treated with kid gloves by the moderators, and I think the choice is clear. Forums, when run well, are better moderated than social media websites. 3. There is less abuse on forums. Additionally, forums in general seem to be less abusive communities than social media sites in general. Why? Because, as I said above, they have clear rules moderated on a consistent basis. So unlike on Twitter or Facebook, where sending threats will often be seen as a non-problem, a decent forum will have the offender banned or punished by the moderators for threatening another member. However, even if you were harassed on a forum, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. And that's because 4. Forums offer more choice in community styles. You always have multiple choices when it comes to what forum to join or what community to be a part of. What's more, unlike Reddit or Vote, said communities can be run in any way the owner wants. And to be honest, I think this works better than the platform having a single set of guidelines all communities could follow. I mean, look at Reddit for a minute. The rules may make sense for some communities, but there are also at least 100 others where they act like an anchor round the moderator's neck. For example, the whole don't link to other subreddits rule is ridiculous and makes the site less convenient for no real benefit. Same goes for the 10% rule. But independent forums don't have these issues. Instead, the moderators can set up the rules to be exactly as nice or harsh as they want them to be. Which works 10 times better in general. It means a support community can indeed be much stricter on the guidelines in order to not stress out those suffering from illness or adverse conditions, and no one will mind. If they do, well, they just have to find one of a million competitors with looser rules. On the other end of the spectrum, it also means forums for troll-like audiences can indeed stop mincing their words and just become the free-for-all they want to be. Will it be a pleasant community? Not for a lot of people. But the option is there, and sites like the Encyclopedia Dramatica forums and Kiwi Farms do exist for the people who want them. It's how a free society works. Choices exist and people can set their own tolerances for what they consider offensive. However, the reasons to prefer forums don't end there. Nope, they're also better at avoiding another issue that's plagued corporate social media sites for years. 5. Companies have limited influence. Namely, they're not ruled by corporate influences in the same way as Twitter, Facebook or YouTube are. This is because of 2 things. A. It's not worth astroturfing them as much as social networks, so shills are a lot less likely on internet forums. B. Forum owners are not willing to censor their sites in advance to please corporate or political interests. It's much better than the situation elsewhere, where systems like Content ID have been implemented to please large corporations at the expense of the users. That sort of thing doesn't happen on these smaller forum communities, and they're 100 times better for it. 6. Forums are unique. Finally, but perhaps mostly importantly, forums are entirely unique from another. No single community has to have the same style, plugins, pages, or features as every other such site does. And that's why something like Reddit or Facebook groups will never compete with them for me. They're okay ideas and I use them for more casual stuff already. But on an actual forum, things can be customized specifically for the community. We can add features like a chat room or a download center or a gallery. Styles can be provided that make the site look nothing else out there or even turn it into a new type of site altogether. Everything can be made feel special and unique to that community. It, and the other reasons mentioned above, are why I will always prefer forums to social media platforms. Because at the end of the day, a mom and pop team run a better, more inclusive and more enjoyable community than a faceless corporate overlord ever could. It's time we went back to forums and left the corporate social silos to die like the terrible ideas they actually are. Whatever be the case, whatever experience you guys had over social media or forums, please let me know in the comment section. If you found what you were looking for, please like and subscribe. Until next time, your friendly neighborhood random guy.